Modern civilization has come a long way in the last decades, bringing about the construction of great cities and innovative industrialization. Nevertheless, we have reached a period in history where we can no longer consume off the land as if it were a source of limited resources. Deforestation, mindless deforestation of pristine areas and the wild, coupled with inefficient planning for modern development, often lead to events that put at risk the health and the security of humans as well as the balance of the ecosystem. Among the main problems that arise from the inadequate clearing of lands, we can encounter erosion, loss of natural habitat, and pollution. In order to modify a terrain in which we wish to build upon, first, a thorough geographical analysis and evaluation must be made. Erosion is a phenomenon often followed by the removal of trees and clearing of lands, causing an uneven distribution of earth, which is due to the subsequent flow of water. Soil could still erode by underground movements of water without any major visible signs on the surface until the damage is too severe. To prevent erosion by the constant flow of a local body of water, channeling often provides good results. The addition of rocks and concrete walls can also help establish a solid and long-lasting foundation. The preservation of trees and planting of trees and certain types of grass with an extensive root system can also help to hold on to the soil and prevent the erosion. The first example shows the effects of erosion in a terrain that was cleared for the harvest of citrus trees. Next, we can observe how the constant flow of water from a river is steadily eroding the edges of the soil. Sinkholes are very dangerous in urban areas because most of the time the ground gives away without previous warnings due to an unnoticed erosion caused by water movement beneath the foundations. Concrete channeling of a river path drastically increases the chances of maintaining the soil in its place. A similar effect can be achieved with the construction of concrete walls in landscapes that have uneven surfaces. Plants are another effective method to stop erosion, thanks to their natural tendency to hold on the soil in place with its root system. Preservation of local fauna and flora can only be achieved by providing habitats in which these species can live, grow, and thrive upon. But each day we keep narrowing down the spaces of these habitats for us to be able to build more and more. In order to preserve more of these natural spaces, we need to stop the total clearing of lands intended for construction. Instead, strategically designated sections of green areas can be left untouched for local species to live and travel through. By combining these green areas with the ones of the local properties, we can compose what is known as a green corridor, places where species can travel through, while us, the humans, make a minimum disturbance to the ecosystem. Many countries in Europe are already implementing the addition of wildlife bridges to provide safe passage of animals over roads and highways. On these lands intended for harvest, sections of untouched areas of the original landscape were left along the river path and on the borders of the properties, serving as green corridors for wildlife. Similar implementations can be applied for urban areas. avoiding the need of completely cutting off the habitats of local species. Big cities where the human population is very dense, bigger scales of green corridors or pathways can be used to connect with the remaining portions of forest that are still standing, all with the intention of keeping balance with the ecosystem. Pollution is an effect that can be observed in many different ways after the unplanned clearing of lands. For example, the runoff of minerals and the earth itself carried by rains into local bodies of water can cause contamination due to an excessive and rapid growth of algae and plant life. Once this excess vegetation dies off, decomposition takes place, and the oxygen dissolved in these bodies of water gets depleted, and the animals living in the water die off because of oxygen deprivation. Another common sign of pollution is in the air. Without the trees to absorb and clean the pollution off the atmosphere, the quality of air gets reduced, which can have a negative effect in our health. In cities where the number of trees are very limited, it is usual to observe smog or big clouds of pollution caused by the gas emissions of cars and manufacturing industries. Without much resources to clean up the air, these clouds of pollution stay longer in our cities, exposing us to dangerous particles. Here, a small river has been subject to the runoff of minerals and probably fertilizer, causing a rapid bloom of algae and other plant life organisms. This phenomena is observed all over the world in bodies of water of all sizes. A comparison before and after the contamination of a lake with the excess minerals coming from the land. The aftermath of this sudden massive bloom of algae is the death of aquatic organisms because the water now lacks the amount of dissolved oxygen needed to sustain animal life. Some animals are able to escape once they feel the oxygen levels dropping, but some water bodies are enclosed and provide no means of escape. As the human population continues to grow, so does the need for resources. Despite the fact that the consumption of additional landscape is often a necessity, the key to sustainable development is planification, foreseeing a long-lasting period, taking into account the land resources and the conditions surrounding this new landscape. It is possible for us to achieve a higher level of efficiency while minimizing the impact we have on the already compromised environment.